Hello and welcome to LACHSA Legacy. I'm Darryl, and I am so glad that you were able to join us. I'm from the Los Angeles County High School for the Arts, class of '87, the premier graduating class. Woohoo! And with me is my amazing and beautiful co-host, Miss Mori Edwards. Mori.
Hey everybody, how are you? As you know what I'm trying to say, the amazing other co-host has said, I'm Mori Edwards, class of 1988, the real premiering graduating class because we were there all 3 years. Anyway,
But she can't premiere
there's
twice. The
major.
first class
It's
graduated. Well, I
Yeah,
have never heard such foolishness.
I mean, if you're a class of 88, you know what we're talking about, right? Okay, so anyway,
Delusional
we
people.
are glad to be here. This is our monthly celebration. We call it the Spotlight Awards, the Alumni LACHSA Legacy Spotlight Award. Not awards.
Awards. We getting awards.
I'm so.
Let's get some awards, yeah.
Okay, well, I'll speak it into existence.
I know
Right,
that.
Let's do that. The LACHSA Legacy Spotlight Interviews, where we take some time to talk to our beloved LACHSA alumni and find out what they've been doing, what their life is like now, the things that LACHSA did for them, how it impacted them, how they keep the LACHSA magic going in their lives, all kinds of wonderful things we talk about. So I'm excited to be here once again, Darryl. Thank you. And shall I introduce our wonderful guests? Or actually, I think they should introduce themselves. You want to do that?
Well, let's let them ease into it, and we'll tell them.
Okay. Well, I'm ready to go all the time.
We're
We've
shy.
got H'Atina Gilliard with us and Emmanuel Munda with us today. Monica Calhoun is scheduled to join us and show as soon as she's available. We hope that she will join us, and if not, Monica, we love you anyway, and we will be reaching out to one another. When Monica, we know, is working, and so may have had an audition, may have had a show, may have had an extra day of filming. But doing great work in the world. So we love you, and we will be with you as soon as you're available to join us. So hopefully she'll join us today. If not, our other two amazing guests who have doing amazing and doing so much work in the world. I'm so impressed. I got a chance to meet them, and H'Atina has been a member of the Legacy Alumni Association board in the past and really helped us stay organized, and we miss her terribly on our board. But so let's go. We're going to jump right into this. And first of all, before we do, we want to let you know that coming up in September, for the first time ever, we are going to have the LACHSA Homecoming. Our students were there in 87, 85, 86, 87, and so on. We've been asking for something that was for us that helped us to be like another regular high school in addition to our arts. And so finally, our new principal has agreed, and we're working with a team of people from the foundation, the school, the Alumni Association, and the Parents Association, and the students to bring our very first LACHSA Homecoming and Alumni Weekend to us in September. So more details will be coming out on that. So follow us on Facebook and like us and all that good stuff so that you can join us for those efforts. And so right now, let us go right on to talking to some of our guests today. H'Atina and Emmanuel, if you all want to tell us a little bit about who you are, what you're doing, where you came from, your experience with LACHSA, and we'll jump right into it. So who wants to go first?
All right. I like how Emmanuel just volunteered me, but okay.
I volunteered.
He gonna be like, ladies first. Okay, all right.
I knew that was going to happen.
Before Beast.
I am H'Atina Gilliard, yes, formerly at Hemphill when I was at LACHSA Hemphill. And what was the question?
Just tell us about yourself and what you're doing right now.
Okay.
Oh Lordy.
Oh man, so
we are already off to a start.
Class of 90, music, vocal, and wow, what am I doing? A lot. I am doing a lot. I'm an independent R&B, smooth jazz, or I should say soul jazz, neo soul
Yeah.
artist, and I a recording artist, and it's been really, really cool. A great journey it's been. I've been doing a lot of recording, released a lot of music since since I jumped back into it about 2016. 2016 is when I had jumped back into everything and started decided that I was going to hit music full force and not stop. Life happened before, of course, but I'm like, okay, no, now it's time to really do me and do what I love to do. So I've been doing a lot of shows, doing a lot of recording a lot of music. I have a new single out right now. It's called Foolish Heart, and it's getting a lot of spins. Spins count. Spins count, y'all.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, so no matter where the spins are, as long as it's spinning. Okay, I'm just saying. So so that's what I've been doing, and I've got a lot of shows lined up all the way through so far through the end of July, through July. So been busy. I've been really busy.
Tell us where you're going to be. So we can get in a moment. Tell us where you're going to be so people can get that on the podcast and people will know.
You want me to tell you that right now? You
can.
Let's tell you right now. Okay. I will be at the Rhythm Room, downtown LA, this Saturday. Yay! 9:30 to 1 a.m. That's around the time that we're usually there, and I will.
That's April 23rd, right? April 22nd.
April 22nd. April 22nd.
2023.
This Saturday. 2023. Yes. I'm sorry. Darryl got me cracking up over here.
See a mess too.
Oh my gosh. I can't with you. Okay. So yes, April 22nd, this Saturday, Rhythm Room. It is the best speakeasy right now in LA. I'm just saying. It really is. It's got a great vibe and everything. And I know you talked about doing the homecoming, and I had mentioned about the possibility of doing the event there during homecoming. So I'm hoping that we can end up working that out. Yeah, an after party, exactly. So hoping that we can work something like that out, because the owners are absolutely wonderful. So I'll be there this Saturday, and I'll be there May 13th. I've got a lot of private gigs and things going, because that's where the money is, y'all. So I got a lot of private gigs going too as well. And then I'll be at the venue. That's what the name of the place is called, in New York in June. Yes, June 9th. I'll be there I think it's June 7th. No, June 9th I'll be there June 9th through the 11th. So I think it's June 9th. Yeah, June 9th is a gig. But yeah, I'm real excited about that. Getting in front of a bunch of new people. I didn't realize I had so many followers in other states until I started getting out there, and I was like, wow, okay. So that's literally, it's going to be a packed house there from my understanding. So I'm really excited about that. And in July, I'll be back at the VIP Bar and Grill in Chicago. Real excited about that gig as well. Selling tickets now, and I think we're at least 50% already in ticket sales, and it's not even close to July just yet. So I'm real excited about that. So we're hoping for a full house on that one as well. So that's what I got going on right now, y'all.
Sounds busy. Sounds good. Sounds like we want what LACHSA students, when we're there, it sounds like that's what we want to have, right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
This is a life we want, right? Sounds great.
That's right. No complaints here.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So, because we know that the industry has changed since, technology has become so developed, and there's so much more that a person can do in terms of being able to get their music out there. People are talking about, how the record industry or the record labels are becoming, or at least the way that they conducted business are becoming, it's kind of like becoming obsolete in a way. You're kind of like deleting the middleman, sort of. I've heard that it's more like you really need them if you're trying to get like major worldwide distribution, although because of technology, you can stream your stuff yourself. So I wanted to ask you if there was anything or what as it pertains to your education at LACHSA, specifically your music education, what, if there was anything, what was it that really helped to prepare you for where you are today? Because I know that there was, you know, the thing of pursuing music as an artist prior to, you know, the way technology is now. If you can give a little feedback on, you know, on that.
Wow.
That
I don't recall getting like the business side of things per se.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I don't recall getting anything like that. I really kind of learned that on the way, along the way, through experience and everything. But what I did learn was how to be professional when I do my shows. I absolutely learn how to be professional when I do my shows.
Okay.
And to this day, I have musicians who love to play with me because they're like, we always know where you're going to go. You always so good at directing us and telling us. I'm like, good. Yay. You know, I learned that. You know, I learned something. So that I can say I took away definitely my performance. I learned that because I don't know if I really had much performance when I auditioned. I laughed at myself when I did my audition because I was like thinking I was Madonna. I want to dress you up with my love. I was thinking I'm like, okay.
All over your body.
Right. I don't know what I was doing.
That was your audition song?
That was one of them. Yes, it was. Don't be judging me. Don't be judging
to show versatility.
I had to show versatility.
Yeah.
Because then I did, you know, what is it?
Caramel.
I forgot what the other song was. No. Rolls Royce. What's the song? It's a slow song. What is the song? What's the popular song? I can't think of it right now. My brain is, man, Emmanuel.
What?
He messed me up. I had it all in my head.
You are hilarious. Oh my God. You know, it's funny that when we were in the backstage before we got started, I pointed out that there were like 3 generations roughly of LACHSA here. And we had all not met together before, but we've all met, each of us have met each other in different ways. But we just had this instant camaraderie that I feel is about this, what the LACHSA magic is, that where we've been, we can walk into a room with each other, and it's not about starness, it's not about where you've been and what you've done, but it's about this camaraderie you have about the school and this learning and this relationships that we build and what we were taught about how to be artists in the world. And I actually just think that we produce through LACHSA some of the best artists ever on the planet. And
I agree.
A lot more yet to come when we build on the legacy of what we are as LACHSA and the current students and our history. But Emmanuel,
yes, sir.
You have been just like Mr. LACHSA in
Don't say that.
You went to LACHSA.
Yeah.
You were a teacher at LACHSA.
Yeah.
Now you had your own children went to LACHSA.
One child at LACHSA, yeah.
One child. And then you now go back and consult and help at LACHSA. You helped with the gala recently. You are always reaching back to work with lots of students on things. Tell us more about your life and how you got to, and I'm particularly interested in how you transitioned into your artistry, how you transitioned your art into the art of production in the way that you do that as an artist.
Sure. I mean, LACHSA for me, I mean, I was only there for 2 years because I came in as a junior, and I did spend a year at Glendale High School. But I think that made me appreciate LACHSA a whole lot more. And because of the shortened amount of time I knew I had there, I had to try everything. So I came in as a saxophone major. It's surprising that some people still don't know that I played saxophone.
Wow.
And then when the opportunity came along to do musical theater, I auditioned, did musical theater. If they needed dancers for a dance production, I came into dance.
Really?
And yes. I'm a quadruple threat. And senior year came along and they started the music technology lab, the Mancini lab, with John Waddell was building that. So my senior year was spent after school with John, um, uh, putting things together, learning the technology, learning the software that created the music. And then by my senior year I was paying for all my senior stuff because all the kids needed audition tapes, and I was the only one that knew how to record people at the lab, and they got their tapes, and if they paid a little more they got CDs, because those were expensive back then. It was like $30 a CD. Now they're pennies. um but coming out of LACHSA, it did teach a lot of discipline, and it really helped bring out a lot of the creativity. When I was stressed, I pick up the saxophone or make music or do something. Also, you develop the hustle, created how do you turn your art into a business, right? I was literally making demos, in people's homes, bringing equipment and recording, and borrowing the stuff from the Mancini lab. If that wasn't there, I don't know how I would have paid for anything during my senior year. When I did graduate from LACHSA and went to LACHSA LA because it was right there, and I didn't want to go far. Plus, my mother said if you don't go to school, you can't stay at home, and I had so, like, there you go.
There's incentive for you, right?
But the performance and the performing never stopped, right? So I came in as a music major, but I was already, I was doing musicals professionally. I was what else I was doing a ton of stuff. I was working at Universal Studios. One of my first gigs was being an extra for Power Rangers. I ended up doing stunts for 2 years, which is crazy, while still going to college. So I would go take a morning class, go out, film, come back, take a night class. I switched my major to bio pre-med because my handwriting was so bad I should have been a doctor, and did that for 2.5 years. But even those 2.5 years, I was in plays, I was in on TV, I was doing film, I was producing music. I spent a lot of time producing demos for a lot of the artists around LA. Sometimes sneaking into the Mancini lab to do it, after school. And since I was on campus, I was working as the department assistant, just moving chairs and putting together equipment and whatnot. And eventually I switched my major to television and film, with enough units to be a theater minor, which is crazy because I was performing this whole time and doing my degree in film. But when I graduated in 2001, that was, I think it was a really bad recession, right? We had Disney firing, I think, 9,000 people that year. I had a job lined up at ABC, totally disappeared. And, I was approached by Dr. Castro, the chair back then, and Alex Werman, who was teaching music tech, to see if I wanted to teach music technology. I was in there pretty much most of the time, and since the first iteration of the Mancini lab, and so I started, but I kind of switched things around. Back then it was literally, if you're a jazz musician, this is how you make jazz music on a computer. If you're a opera singer, classical trained, this is how you create classical music on a computer. I went, well, what do you guys want to do? We had a lot of kids that love hip hop. All right, let's learn how to make beats. Let's talk about sampling. Let's learn a little history. One of their textbooks was Vibe History of Hip Hop, right? So they can see the development of it. And what else do you guys want to learn? We want to learn how to record ourselves better. We want to learn how to write songs. So it really started early on when I started of the whole commercial music aspect of it, to be able to create a product at the end of the year. At the end of the year, they ended up with like three, 4, 5 demos that were ready for market. Right? They can easily publish as their own, or they can shop around. I brought in guest speakers about microphone design or about the industry. We took field trips to Warner Brothers Studios, and so with that, I was still working on my own projects as an artist, as a producer, as a writer, as all these other things. I was still once in a while performing, starting a family, full-time job. I had
I'm trying to figure out when you started when you even had time to start. So what you're describing.
well, it's I mean, for me there's no such thing as time, just a series of events, and you just keep going from one event to the other and another. So you're not set on this has to be done by this time. No, it's but in the professional world, I consult on events. Like at the end of the month, I'm consulting on the gala, right? Do their AV supervision, make sure that all the video and audio stuff is working, all the fundraising stuff is working. And so I mean, the arts has always been inside me, and it's sort of, we were talking earlier where you asked between production and performing, and for me, it's all in the same. You're creating something. If you're a performer, you're creating what people are watching in front of you, right? Whether you're reading somebody else's work, if you're doing video, I'm creating that locked in memory. I mean, I'm currently one of the things I'm doing is I film the LACHSA performances, right? Something that I wish we had. If not for Jose, thank you, Jose. If you're still alive and you're still around, thank you for coming in and recording some of the shows. If he didn't show up, I would have no video evidence of some of the performances at LACHSA. And even then, I have 3 videos that came out of LACHSA, right? Now some of these kids will be like, oh, let's look in the vault, and this is my performance of this and that, right? And to be able to watch themselves and study and to learn and grow from it, because I think that's really important. And I always try to push it. Last year or last school year, it was more for in case of emergencies, because we might not be able to perform due to COVID, right? So let's record everything so we can distribute it. Now it's like, let's archive it. So I hope they continue that, whether it's with me or with somebody else. I'm always glad to help out with that. And now that they're starting a whole commercial music program track, after I left LACHSA, for the music department, I think it's like, I just planted that seed that I had to leave in order for it to grow. But it's extremely important now for these kids to know the music business, the business side of things. There's only so much you can do with performance. And even so, as a performer, you hate to break the bad news, even though you're living your dream at LACHSA, there's only going to be a few percentage that will be making it out there doing what they love doing. And like, it's always a blessing to see like H'Atina still sing, Mori dancing, or are you still acting, Mr.
I
Mo?
do. I direct and perform and sing. Exactly. I sing, dance, act, direct.
Exactly. Right? So it's like it's always like, for me, I'm like, wow, they're doing what they love. And even though I'm not in front of the camera, or I am or on the stage or on the or on the stage, I still think I still believe I'm still creating by either recording, producing. I have a YouTube channel that all we do is live concerts inside the tiny little camper, and it gives everybody that intimate experience of just being alone with the artist. And
so you have to bring that to the reunion and the homecoming.
He gonna have me on there one day. We talked about it.
Definitely. Schedule you in there for a camper snap sessions. But yeah,
Emmanuel, it's funny because when you talk about production, some years ago I ran a nonprofit in the DC area. It was a labor, arts, and culture organization, and that they did was because labor, music, labor, art, labor, culture, all of that kind of stuff. But we had a fundraiser, and when we changed the nature of the fundraiser, one of the things that I work with the caterers on is catering is an art. The food that you're creating, the textures, the look of it, the design, all of it is art. And prior to that, the food was just food they were serving. So what I said was, let's set up these stations. So when our guests come in, they're seeing the creativeness of the food in addition to the performances that they're hearing, the music or dance theater, what's going on. And all of it is an artistic expression. And we did it at the AFL-CIO building in their lobby in DC with this huge mural. It's this huge piece of art. It's a mural, but it's a piece of art, and people weren't thinking about it that way, right? But our whole back mural. And then you've got this food that's on these displays, and then this performance, and you come into an entire artistic environment that is honoring the labor movement.
Oh, that sounds
So I think you're
beautiful.
right. We've got to find ways that we make sure that all of the where we represent and acknowledge and lift up and honor all of the different ways that we are artists in the world.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
everything's not going to be in front of the camera or on the stage. The art happens all around us.
Right.
Yes.
Like during the pandemic, I partnered up with a friend of mine and we started a barbecue sauce business. Right.
Really?
Wow.
Really good,
All the
by the
things
way.
I'm doing is barbecue sauce, but it was one of those things in which he came up to me and it's like, I'm real bummed I can't have my food truck and all that. I'm like, just start with your flavors, start with that, and with that we developed our it was artistry and chemistry, and he would come bring me a jar. I'm like, this is good, bring me art, this is not, can we have more this, can we have more that, and we developed like 9 different flavors all through the career. And now he's developed the business into a catering business where the flavors that we created are now what's flavoring the barbecue that he's selling at the farmers market in Montrose every Sunday. Look for it.
What's the name of it?
It's Bruce's Twisted Barbecue, powered by BBQ Sauce Company. So it's I mean, the creativity is something that I've always had, and I think it allowed us as artists, especially at LACHSA and in high school, to be able to express the anger, the fear, the angst that we all had as high school students. And that's like what I'm seeing now as a parent of a LACHSA, of a visual artist, of all things. I'm like, I'm a performer, and then here's my kid who wants to make art, which is great. But it's like I can see how she uses the art to get her feelings out and in that emotional connection, while learning the technique, while learning the practices. Whether or not she takes it to the next level, becomes a full-time professional artist, or she becomes a doctor, or wherever she goes, she'll have that way of expression, which I think is invaluable, and which LACHSA provides.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So listen, I've got a question for both of you. So you've been talking about what you're doing and how you've transitioned and evolved in the arts, right? What would be something you would say to a current student or even alum who is still trying to find their way in that world, the art is in their heart. It's been hard to break through the barriers that are out there, those natural barriers. What's something that you can say to somebody that helps them figure out how to break through those barriers, or how to not give up on the art that's in them, that powers their soul?
Don't stop.
Get it.
Don't stop. Don't. I'm serious. I'm serious.
Yeah, don't stop.
Don't stop. Keep pushing, because you know what? I had so many people who tried to tell me I didn't have no voice because I didn't sing like they did. I don't care. I am a singer, and I know I got a voice. I may not have yours, but I shouldn't have yours. I have my own.
Right.
And I came into my own as I got older. When I was younger, it was different, but I started maturing and my voice started changing. And I can do things with my voice now that I couldn't do then. So, you just keep going, because you're going to have more, you're going to hear more no's, you're going to have more doors slammed in your face. I still get a ton of no's. Trust me, I still get doors slammed in my face. But you know what? Out of all of those, at least one is going to say something. At least one is going to be like, okay, I'm going to give you a chance. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
It's funny you say that.
Just don't stop.
Years ago, I was in an airport in Chicago, and I was traveling from New York from college back to LA. And Josefina Maria Lopez, my best friend from high school, who went to LACHSA, graduated with us. We had one of those movie moments that you always want, like you see somebody you know for a long time, you haven't seen them, you're like the slow, oh my God, it's you kind of thing, right? We literally had that moment. And so we're both on our way to LA, but I'm coming from New York, so I'm stopping through Chicago, layover in Chicago. She's getting a flight. She was living in Chicago at the time. So we're going to be on the same plane going home, but we didn't know that, right? We hadn't talked in a while. And so I'm like, oh my God. And we're screaming, we hug and crying, we're laughing and all that. And I had in college written my own shows and had wrote my senior project, and it was produced by the school and all that kind of stuff. So I told her, because when we were in high school, I was performing, but I've written some things, but not like, my opinion was I wasn't a writer like she was a writer, right? And I happened to say that. I said, well, I'm writing, but I'm not a real writer like you, because I write choreo dramas. That's what I do. And so, and I'm good at that now. And I love it. I love infusing theater, dance, and music all into a whole production. It's like Alvin Ailey mixed with Shakespeare and August Wilson and a Grammy performance, right? So, so I said that to her, and she says, Darryl, don't ever say that. You are you. You are your own artist, and you
Right. That's right.
You do what you do. I do what I do, and you cannot compare yourself to others. And I hear that in my head a lot when I still remind myself at 50 something years old not to compare myself to other artists, because they have their, like you said, H'Atina, our voices are different, our art is different.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, but Emmanuel, what would you say to someone?
What would find your reason? I mean,
what's your why?
Yeah, what's your why? I mean, a lot you can get all the techniques. You can knock as many doors as you want, but if you don't know why you're doing it,
True that.
it almost means it's almost futile. I mean, there's several approaches, to life. I mean, mine is usually do it your dang self kind of thing. It's like no one's going to do it for you. People are just people who wants to carry you usually wants to drop you to move themselves forward as well too. But you have to find your reason why. And if you can't find a show, create your own show, be your own producer, learn every aspect of the art that you're in. You may be really good actor, but you see a lot of actors now. Okay, I'm going to be the producer now, or I'm going to be the director now, and that's how you grow. And that's and if you're still the same person as you were 30 years ago, and you haven't developed or learned your lesson, sometimes it's not a good thing. I mean, like when I was going to college, and my goal was to hit my bucket list before I graduated. Every little, like my high school bucket list, it's like I want to perform here, I want to do that, and I did it. I want to be a stuntman. Yay! I was a stuntman. I want to be on the movie. I was in the movie. I want to be on TV. I want to be on stage. It's like all these things that I got to do before I was 22, and then I met my wife, and then it's like another journey. It's like opening up a brand new book, opening up a new set of bucket lists and everything. And for a while, just growing up and experiencing fatherhood, having it wasn't a 9 to 5 job, but it was more like a 10 to 10 job where it's 12 hours overnight shift. It was still in the industry. I was still doing, I was still using my broadcast degree. It was killing me, but it was like, I was the regular dad while I was also teaching at LACHSA, which was like my relief from all that. It was great. And then my wife was diagnosed with a rare autoimmune disease that literally they said, you got 5 years. And you're like, okay, change the reason, change the why you're doing what you're doing. So the focus changes in your life situations. And so I'm sorry, it's a little. This is the part where I get everybody to tear up. And basically, I started focusing on her. It's a rare disease called scleroderma. It's a hardening of the skin. Over 300,000 Americans have it, and I'm like, I need to cure this thing. What do? Switch gears. Learn about the disease. Learn about the foundation that provides the research and the support. Get the best medical team I can find by working for the foundation. I learned a lot about fundraising. I learned about community development. I became the community development manager. I was the one that was reaching out, and I was using the skills that I've had. I produced videos. I did viral, viral campaigns for the Scleroderma Foundation. I was able to reach out to people that would normally not be reached out or not have the voice, or people that would never hear the word scleroderma, right? Unless you knew Bob Saget, you would never hear the word scleroderma. But then every time I meet somebody, oh, my mom had the disease, my aunt had the disease. It's everywhere. It's prevalent. Although my wife had the most deadliest portion of it, and seeing her through chemo, seeing her through, you know, near death experiences and all that stuff, sort of like drives you a little bit more. And you know, to be honest, I was teaching at the time when we got the diagnosis, and my kids were the biggest supporters. If anything, artists are very empathic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they were there to help. Yeah, Phoebe Bridgers in the room, Fiona Gray was in the room. They were in the same room when I got the news, and they're like, "How can we help?" Meal train started. They all pitched in and helped out. It was. We're moving on. Basically, she was given 5 years. She's alive 12 years later. So let's just say we made a change, and there was a point in which, you know, in which, you know, I think in which my goal was to find a cure, and then somebody from Genentech, big pharma, you know, saw me at a podcast that I used to do for the foundation, said, hey, we want to sponsor your walks, we're going to do this, oh, because we're releasing this new medication, and it turns out that medication directly affects her illness, and it's literally, if she flares up again, we found a cure. Or a treatment that will keep her from dying. So I mean, that's a switch. And it may not be something artistic, right? But I got to use my skills in video. I got to use my skills in talking in front of people. I was the host, the MCs for all these walks. I was the face of scleroderma. You know, if you look up a bunch of PSAs, it's me going, hey, this is 1 minute of scleroderma, blah blah blah. You know, and even then, I'm now the person they look to help organize like a skiathon or a gala that I'm doing at the end of the month. So it's like that's my change my change in perspective, my change of why is now I'm doing it for a bigger reason. That's just not me, you know, and still it allows me to create. Although now that she's a little bit better, I produce things like camper snap sessions. You go see a person performing in the camper for fun.
Yeah. You know, this is Emmanuel and H'Atina, Mori. This is LACHSA magic.
Yeah.
Right. This is what LACHSA creates in us. That, you know, I wouldn't be who I am without what I got from both Loyola Elementary School, Bancroft Middle School, Junior High, and then of course Van Nuys for a moment. But LACHSA, really, between Loyola and LACHSA, that's where my foundations live, and what I talk about all the time. But LACHSA was the epitome, because at that age, as a teen, I needed what LACHSA was going to give me, so I could go to college, I could go out into the world and make a way for myself. And what you're talking about, Emmanuel and H'Atina, to me, this is what LACHSA is about. And so for those of you on here who might see this podcast, share it with students that should come to LACHSA. They're going to get more than just an arts education. We demand high academic standards. I just want you to know that. Everybody coming through LACHSA is at least close to brilliant or trying to be.
I know that's right. I know that. Right. You know, that's true. That's true.
You know, we're not playing on academics. We're not just an arts thing.
Right.
It's about our academics.
We're sometimes
so serious, but not so serious that you have to be, you know, like way out there somewhere. You can, you know, but the magic of LACHSA is really about who we become as people in the world, as agents of change, and as artists of change. And there's so much more to our artwork, so much more than who we are as people. And I'm proud to be a part of the LACHSA legacy. And it sounds like hard, but this is so much. I love this conversation because it goes deeper into who we become and the impact that we as the LACHSA legacy and alumni, the deepness that the school will have and the impact that we have on the world around us is bigger, and bigger than just bigger than Broadway. It's bigger than a Grammy or a movie. It's all of that and then so much more. Right, Mori?
Yeah, definitely. I was going to say that I kind of had somewhat of the conversation with my son just this morning. My youngest, he's 23, and I'm going to talk with him, and I'm going to actually, I don't know if he's on the broadcast. If you're watching, Joshy, listen up. I hope you're listening good. But if not, then I'm definitely going to replay this for him. This part of it about adjusting the why. Only because, I know, Darryl, we grew up in the time frame where it was like, well, you better get your job, you better be a nurse or something that was going to secure your life. Dancing is just something that's cute on the side, or whatever. My mom, when I was going to college, she was like, okay, you can be an entertainment lawyer, and then you can do your little dance thing on the side until you retire, and then you can open your own studio or whatever. So the thing about it, though, is I was saying to my son that I felt like I fought an uphill battle in terms of not doing that. And I am one of the few people that are in my circle that's truly doing what they know they were created to do. And it's not easy, And then I heard my son say it to a friend of his the other day, and I started to pop him upside his head because he said, those that can't do, they teach. I was like, well, that's not the truth, because I can still do. And I give these little 25-year-olds a run for their money.
Yeah, you will. I know it.
I
already know.
I know.
Yes.
And all of that. So,
yes,
but the thing is, though, is that thing that's inside of us, it doesn't die. If you don't let it die, it won't die. And it's still kind of, that's what I was saying, when we were doing the backstage stuff, I was like, yeah, I'm always ready to dance. I don't know if that's something that's wrong, because in my 50s, and I'm still the same way that I was in the 10th grade coming to LACHSA, looking at that NBC special that they were saying, and I was sitting there, I was like, I got to dance, I got to move. If they did it this many years later, it would be the same thing. And the thing about it, though, is being wise enough to be able to understand when you need to shift and how that shift should manifest so that you can continue not just to support yourself or to support your family, but to make the differences. What is it about what you're passionate about? Why is it that you could get up and do this thing, whether you were getting paid or not, whether you were creating or being a part of somebody else's creation or not? There's something about you that's on the depths of who you are that it's crying out, and not for attention, not for the whole pick me or see me thing. It really is a gift that is meant for the world to see or to hear or to embrace or to read or to look at, whatever. So I think that it's really not just important but majorly impactful, Emmanuel, how you've shared what that is, because that tidbit right there is going to I think create longevity for those that may not have figured out exactly why they're doing what they're doing. It might not be just because I love to dance and that's just all I really want to do.
Right.
It could be, you know what? Hey, that's going to make an impact for this, that, and the other, 5, 10, 20 years, 100 years down the line.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that was very, very wonderful information that you shared with us. So thank you. Thank you for allowing us to tear up a little bit.
I know, right? I
know.
Sorry,
guys.
I'm not all good.
Absolutely.
But it's so amazing. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, I think the LACHSA magic is the LACHSA family. I mean, whether you're a parent or a student that came out from the LACHSA experience, because it's we both had our joys and our traumas and everything going through LACHSA. It all binds us. My family went to go watch 1776 the other night. We have two cast members are LACHSA alumni that I'm really close with, and then walking out to hear Munda, and this girl comes up and gives me a big hug. I'm like, Katie, it's like former students who recognize you, who know you, who all share in that family. And or else they wouldn't say anything. They know if you're LACHSA, you're gonna return the hug. But yeah, there's so much familial aspect of it where I can say, look, I got my 3 big siblings, and even though we never went to school together.
Right.
Yeah. Me and Emmanuel never we didn't go to school together.
Yeah, and we spent a lot of time during pandemic.
Yes, we sure did. We sure did. Did some filming together. Yep, that's right. And then me and Mori, this was right before the pandemic, or
right before the pandemic,
right around that time, I think it was, or whatever. But we did a video
Actually,
together. Was it during the pandemic?
It was during
the pandemic. That's what I thought. Yeah, Journey. Yeah, that was during the pandemic. And another friend from another class, she came, from LACHSA, and she signed, and she actually went ahead and did some signing in the video, and it was awesome. It was awesome.
Really
wait.
Was.
Okay, so I have a squirrel moment. Wait, squirrel. Okay, wait. Squirrel. Okay, wishing on a star. That was the song I auditioned.
Oh, okay.
Rolls Royce, yes, that was
Rolls Royce, wishing on a star. I was like, wait,
that's right, wishing on a star. That's a good song.
I know I'm a hot mess. Don't be whatever, Emmanuel. Whatever.
Okay, so before we get ready to wrap up shortly, we got a little bit of time left. But I want to ask you each, Tina and Emmanuel, what is, and you mentioned it a little bit, Emmanuel, just a piece of LACHSA magic that you remember from your days at LACHSA that carries you now?
I was just about to ask the same question.
Oh my god!
You know what?
There's so
many. It's a lot of them. Oh, look at us saying the same thing.
Dang.
It's a lot of them, but you know what? I think the most amazing thing for me was not just the musicals, being able to be a part of those, even though I was in music, but we could only do one major at that time, right? So it was really great to be able to be a part of that. But the other thing was being downstairs in a rehearsal room, and it's a group of us down there, and we are harmonizing and singing our hearts out and just having a blast. I tell you, when I was there, I had neighborhood friends, and they be out of school by the time I get home, whatever, they out of school. And they would be tripping. You're at school from 8 a.m. to 4? Yep. And sometimes longer, because we loved being at school. I did. I loved being at school. You couldn't get me away, peel me away. My mom be like, okay, it's time to clean up. And I'm like, no.
It's a great way to miss rush hour traffic in LA. You get there early and stay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But that was those memories, we made some great memories there. I absolutely loved being at that school. And anybody asked me if I would go again, yep, I sure would.
Me too.
I sure would.
Too. Yeah.
I mean, the LACHSA magic was just being able to be with like fellow artists and create. I remember like the stairwell over at the Playhouse had great acoustics, so I was singing in the still of the night with 4 other guys and just starting a whole R&B deal, and man, Black History show, Cinco de Mayo show, being able to collaborate on those student run productions and really spreading your wings. And I think it's just a ball of creativity, and there's nothing bad that would come out of it, except maybe for drama between students. But you know what? There's drama everywhere. It ain't LACHSA without the drama. But
you know what though?
We have teenagers who gonna have drama. I mean, that's
what the funny thing about that though is I don't have any memories, and I've not heard of any memories where of harmful drama happening, like fights or rapes.
Oh yeah, no,
pregnancies or people having. I don't. And at LACHSA, I don't think we didn't have any of those. There may have been, because some things may have been kept quiet for personal reasons, but I don't remember there being anyone that was there and suddenly they were gone, right? And we didn't know why they left. There was no rumors of. Go ahead,
we had one gangster, so nobody was fighting him. George, love George. Oh my gosh, he was awesome. He was one of the best artists I've ever met at LACHSA. And comes total shaved head and goatee and the whole like long shorts and pulled up socks, and he was just like the funnest guy. but he was a gangster. But he was
Wow.
cool. He
All
was
right.
Wow.
yeah. I mean, nobody really fought. There was the dramas and cat fights once in a while, but you squash it. You squash it because you're a professional performer. You know
Right.
you
And
put that away
that's the
and go on
key.
stage.
They were teaching us to be, they did not treat us like student performers or student learners. We were treated like young professionals that were expected to behave like professionals.
Yeah.
And
Or
develop
according to Lois Hunter, young people, because you're not children, you're people.
Favorite teacher, favorite academic teacher, favorite arts teacher.
Oh.
Mm,
Oh,
mm.
Mr. Waddell,
Oh my
definitely
gosh, John.
I mean, he was. Somebody had posted something about to acting like
The
you're
walk-in?
really in a hurry. Yeah,
Yeah,
when you ain't
yeah.
really like you're really busy when you're really not. That's the way he
Oh
walked
my
through
gosh.
everything.
You know, while we were building the lab, he was so frustrated with the manual of one of the keyboards that we had there that he wrote his own.
Wow.
It's ridiculous.
You talked about
Oh
that.
my gosh.
He wrote his
Yeah.
own manual.
No, wrote his own manual. No, John was one of the
Oh, he
greats.
was awesome, and he.
Okay, so
cracked me up.
that's your arts area favorite,
Arts,
right?
arts.
What about
Yeah.
your academic favorite?
Academic favorite, it's a toss up between because I never had Friedman or some of the greats. They became my what you call that,
Colleagues.
colleagues. But between Barada and Morotek, the two craziest.
Oh my
Thank
God,
you. I was
forgot
gonna
those
say
names.
Mr. Rotec. I was gonna say
Yeah, I
Rotec.
remember them.
I
He's
remember
still and he's still around. We would him and Leonard House would go arm in arm and go down the hallway going boinky 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 boinky, skipping along. I
So,
swear.
Emmanuel, can you do us a favor? Can you help us get in touch with some of the faculty and colleagues that you knew from the older days? So we want to have a podcast with them also and talk.
I mean, just look at my Facebook list. They're all there.
So my favorite academic teacher was Carolyn Hinckley, who was our government teacher. But I also loved our English teacher,
Mr. Doty.
No,
Mr.
yeah, I did
Doty?
love him.
Doty.
Mr. Doty was hilarious, but the other one, Linda, I think it was Linda. It was a woman, but they were great. But Mr. Doty that's another one.
Doty was great. Oh my
was
God.
awesome. And my favorite, of
characters as
course,
teachers.
my favorite arts person was Vicky Silva.
Oh my God.
Yes, Miss
Yeah.
Silva. Oh my
And, you know,
goodness.
I was not in the theater department, and you know, we didn't meet until a lot, like actually have a conversation until a lot longer when we were in backstage graduation. And we were walking as teachers, and we just hit it off with a conversation about voiceovers. And we had so many brilliant teachers.
Yes.
We still have a bunch of brilliant teachers. But
Maury, what about you? Favorite arts teacher, favorite academic teacher, Maury?
Of course, the favorite arts teacher was Karan Brown, who is now
Yes.
Karan Brown Lehman.
Oh, love her.
Yes, indeed. She's my dance mama. Hope you get to see
Yes,
this.
love her, love her.
Yeah, we need to get her on here.
We
We
can
will.
make that
We've been
happen.
talking to her too.
That's
Yeah.
good. Yep. And then academic teacher, Miss McQuary.
McQuarrie.
Yes,
I
the
love
science
her.
teacher, biology
Yes,
teacher, biology.
yes.
Yes.
Chemistry, biology. She was
I remember
amazing. She was so
it was
cool.
Linda Steuben. The name I remember was
Yeah,
Linda
I
Steuben.
remember.
Miss Stupid.
Miss
Yeah. What did she was my counselor.
She
became a
taught.
counselor.
She did. Because
Yeah.
at one time she was in the classroom. I think she was teaching something around writing and all that. Somewhere in that
Yeah.
realm.
Well, no, she was the go back to my when I had to go to college thing. I had when my mom said you better go to college, the next day was when all the college applications were due for Cal State's, and of course the only one that was there was Cal State LA because it's down the street, down the way. And I was in Miss Stupin's office writing my essay, and she's like helping me out and trying to get everything ready.
Aw,
Oh
she's
my
so
God.
sweet.
That
I
was
remember her.
wow.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. So I
So
had
Maury,
Mr.
I'm sorry I
Freeman.
interrupted you. You're
That's okay. Miss
now you're
McQuarrie,
academic.
Mr. Freeman, of course, and then Mr. Doty. Those
Yeah,
three.
Mr. Toad.
And I love Mr. Freeman. I actually, like you, Emmanuel, never had him at
Oh, he
school.
was the best.
I
Yeah, I
remember him
had
because I
him for
remember
He
walking
was
past
the
his
best.
classroom
history,
and
right?
seeing him.
History.
Right?
Well, I
Yeah,
had him
I
for
could.
history, and he
Yeah.
was the leadership teacher.
Oh
He
yeah.
also did like the
Okay.
student government. He was the
Yeah.
leadership teacher.
Yeah.
Advisor.
He was
Yeah,
the
yeah.
best.
Mm-hmm.
No kidding. That's why everybody loves him like they do, because
Yes,
Yeah,
he's
he
so
was on
and
it.
he's still
He still
there.
is
He's
on
still
it.
there.
Yeah,
still
Can't get
there.
rid
he
of him,
is on it. He's still on it.
and he doesn't want to go.
No,
No,
he
they
doesn't.
now they've tried, but we have had
They
to do
tried.
campaigns too. We've
I
done
was there.
campaigns, written letters to LACO and everywhere else.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
We ain't doing that one. We're gonna keep this one till he don't want to be here no more.
I
That's
know,
it.
right?
exactly.
Or till he
You know,
can't.
when he showed up at graduation last year after going through
After COVID?
chemo, going through cancer.
Chemo.
Yeah,
Oh, the
chemo.
chemo.
Yeah,
Chemo.
and he showed up. I was like, oh my gosh, like that was so like moving because
Yeah.
nobody expected him to show. I think it was last year where like he was really
Yeah.
sick,
Yeah, yeah.
and he would still be on meetings trying to do the '92 reunion.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mhm. Yep.
like I'm right here
resilience is amazing.
sitting getting my my chemo right now. I'm like, I hope you don't mind. I'm like, why are you even?
Right. But you know what? Talk about mind over
Jeez.
matter. That is
Yeah.
Mr.
Oh,
Freeman. That is
absolutely.
Mr.
Yeah.
Freeman
Man, he-
100%.
I don't know where. I
all-
think he stole the fountain of youth and just
Yeah.
in his backyard. That's what he's doing.
He's sucking up
Love
all the
you,
lots of
Darryl. Love
magic
you.
and keeping it alive, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Well,
Exactly what he's
listen, we have had a great conversation today, and I'm so glad that you all joined us today, and that this is just such a great joy to spend time with you and to know what you're doing in the world, and that you continue to give back to LACHSA and share with us. I want to remind everybody that we have our upcoming annual reunion and homecoming, which will be in September of this year, and it's going to be September the 28th through October 1st, roughly that weekend. So we'll have some alumni stuff happening in the earlier end of the week, and then the homecoming over the weekend. And so, Emmanuel, H'Atina, get ready for the things that you'll be able to bring to that. If anything, been being a part of the LACHSA Legacy Board, we are always looking for you. You can check us out on our Facebook group and send us an email or go to our website and join us if you would like to reach out to us that way. Like us on Facebook. Mori, thank you again for today. We have a very special thing before we go. And we are going to but real quick shout out to the school for your love and support, for the organization for your continued efforts and support, and to the Parents Association for continuing to make things happen on campus with our students. So we love you. We thank you, all the faculty that are there and current students. We are so proud of your work and what you're doing, the industry already. And so all of our alumni, we love you wherever you are. So we want to hear from you. We want to have you on the spotlight. We want to share what you're doing as well. And we want to lift you up, and we want to support your work too. But as we close out these last 2 minutes, we're going to share something. I'm going to try this my very first time. I'm going to try to present a video file, if it will let me, of one of our guests tonight.
That was a special number. I was waiting for that special number.
I thought we were going to do it that way, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to see what happens if it lets us do it. I don't know if you're going to hear it, but let's see. I'm trying to find out if it's doing it. It won't.
You should be able to present. You're trying to present?
I did present, and then it says it wants a file, and it wants to go to the file. But I'm going to do it a different way. Hold on. I'm going to share screen. I'm going to see if it'll let me share screen. It's loading.
This is my during pandemic, what I've been doing is just troubleshooting everybody else's video problems.
Right.
Before the actual show, Darryl.
You'll have
it's funny.
Hit me up.
I don't have any video problems. Just call Emmanuel.
Yeah.
Just call Emmanuel. Just
slide
call
into my
Emmanuel.
DMs. I'll fix it.
I think anybody can present, though. I think. Is it Emmanuel? Can you?
I have no clue what you want me to present.
It's in the chat.
Oh, is that it? The video.
I'm trying to. I'm trying to do this now. Hold on. Sorry, screen.
Oh, that's what you want to do. All right.
Wow.
Let's make this happen.
Let's see what it's gonna show. I might show y'all stuff I don't want y'all to see on my whole computer.
Oh, it meant. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, here we go.
Oh, hey, look, it's us. It's us. It's us. It's me. It's me and
That's not what we
everybody.
want. Well, listen, here's what I'm gonna do for y'all. I'm going to take this film, this link. I'm gonna put it right here in a banner for you. So while you are watching this show, you can and I clicked on the wrong thing. So hold on.
I'm like, what is that?
I got locked in.
Magic.
That's a whole nother thing. So
you said you locked in.
Here. That's not it either. Hold on.
No, I got it. I'm ready to go.
Oh, Emmanuel said he got it. Emmanuel said he got it.
Okay, go ahead, Emmanuel.
Let me see it works. I hear shared screen. Oh,
this is hilarious, y'all.
Yeah, this.
I know. We are funny. We are funny right now.
It's funny, and I gotta go to another meeting. But let's see banners. Create a banner here.
Is it this one?
And the banner.
It's on the website too. It's on the website.
Here's the link. That's not the one.
That is not the one. Yeah, it is.
There it is. That's the link. Are you sharing the video? Go ahead and share it. But this is a YouTube link to H'Atina's latest single, and it's called
Foolish Heart.
What is it?
Foolish Heart.
Say it again. Foolish Heart. So you can click on that link or download that.
That was a preview now.
That was a preview.
That's a preview. I don't know. I'm looking at the time. I don't know if we're stuck with an hour. We can talk forever.
Yes,
we can. But I got to go to another thing. I got some people.
You got a thing, Mr. Moke. Mr. Moke's got a thing.
And about a thing. And
sorry, everybody.
We love you all. We love you, LACHSA. We love our LACHSA community. Thank you so much for being with us today. Join us next month, Mori, when we're going to have what?
I was going to get to that. Okay, so next month for May, we're going to do a very special Mother's Day edition. So look for that. It's the third Thursday of the month. It'll be after Mother's Day, but it's still going to be a Mother's Day edition.
Tuesday.
Oh, what am I saying? Tuesday, not Thursday. Tuesday. Oh. I'm tongue-tied just like I was at the beginning of the show. Okay, anyway.
And then in June, we're going to do a special Father's Day edition. Okay? So be on the lookout. We're going to send some nice little information out. Just keep your eyes and ears open. And then soon we'll have some alumni, some more alumni. We'll have some faculty things that have been with us. And, we're just going to keep doing the thing. So we do what we do. We love you. And we look forward to seeing you again. So join us again. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Facebook. You can follow H'Atina. You can follow Emmanuel and Mori. And you can find us all in the LACHSA community doing great things. So have a great night, everybody. Have a wonderful time. And we look forward to seeing you. We are going to get Monica back as soon as we can. Y'all have a great night.
Bye, you guys.
Live the dream.
LACHSA magic.
Yes.
Peace.